to take a moment and talk about labels. Recently, I had a young girl ask me what kind of medium I was. And medium, in and of itself, is a label that feels somewhat limiting to me. My tagline for my business is, how do you define the undefinable? And I'm not actually talking about me in that. I'm talking about how do you define all of these things that exist outside of ourselves? How do we define the spirit world? How do we define the angelic realm? How do we define the nature realm? There's just so much that's undefinable. And so when I talk about my abilities, my skill sets, what I'm able to do, it is with the understanding that much about me is indescribable. Much about what I see is indescribable, and I'm doing my best to articulate it to people who have never experienced what I've experienced. And so, keeping that in mind, I could start with saying that one of the types of abilities or skill sets that I have is clairsentient, which means that my body senses and feels what other people sense and feel, or what other worldly beings are trying to portray to me. And so, for example, if I'm in the room with another human being and they're feeling fear, my body will sense that fear and it will feel that fear. And so my training from the angelic realm has been that when my body senses that fear, that it does not misinterpret or mistake that fear as mine. And so a lot of my teaching has come from the angelic realm. I have one angel in particular who shows up on a regular basis and teaches me about the gifts or the abilities or the skills that I have. And so as a clairsentient human being, I've had to learn how to tell the difference between what you're feeling, that I'm feeling because I'm clairsentient, and what I'm actually feeling. And that's taken practice. And so what I will often say to people is, how do you feel and how do you sense? For me, the difference is, am I feeling it or am I sensing it? It's like my body has all these little receptors on it, and I'm sensing what you are feeling, or I'm sensing what the spirit world is trying to get me to understand through feeling, or I'm sensing the love and the peace that the angelic realm is trying to wrap me in. That's a lot different than I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling fearful. And for me, knowing the difference between those two things has actually helped me stay sane. Because you can imagine what it's like to be a hypersensitive human being who feels everything that's going on in the room around them to a much greater degree than someone who is shut down and not allowing themselves to feel.